Hi everyone, Rachel Weber here again on the Twin Cities Film Festival Red Carpet. So excited to talk about the film Word of Honor with a couple of the creative team. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves and what you did in the team?
Sure, my name is Kiersten Chace and I am the producer, director, and editor.
Awesome. So many hats, that's amazing, I love it. And you, sir?
I'm Todd, Madson, and I composed and performed the music for the production.
Oh, and performed it. That's amazing. That's wonderful. So I will start with you. What inspired you to start this project in the first place? Why this project?
Well, this started probably about 12 years ago, and I had been actively involved in community projects in South Africa, and I was actually able to witness over a period of 10 years some of the struggles after Mandela had been elected, and there were a lot of promises that had been made, and I kept seeing this particular colored community in South Africa, which are the mixed race indigenous peoples. I just kept seeing them continually be marginalized through government policies and different things like that, and I just felt it was time to just let the world know the truth about South Africa, that it's just not about a black and white struggle, that there are other minority groups that really need to be a part of that country as well and feel a part of that country. Yes.
Feel like they belong there. Awesome. I love that. What connection do you have to South Africa?
My connection started in 1995 when I helped produce a concert tour for one of South Africa's top gospel choirs here in the Twin Cities area. And it was during that concert tour when one of the young women in the group had revealed to me what she would say is a secret, or kind of almost a fearful confession. And what she said that evening, she said, Kiersten, she said, in my country, I'm not considered a black South African, I'm a colored. And of course, that term in America, you don't use that. And so I was like, whoa, you don't say that. And that's where she was able to just kind of educate me over the next couple of weeks. And then I just became very, very interested in this community. But I really didn't start taking action until about 10 years post-apartheid, when I was seeing a lot of the communities, other communities being uplifted, but I was seeing nothing coming into the colored townships. And there's 6 million colored South Africans, between 5 and 6 million. So that's where it came out of advocacy, is the reason why I've done these films.
Out of all that population, because you worked on it for so long, how many people do you think you got to talk to in that time?
Oh, I would have to say, just amongst friends and community leaders and just gatherings, I'd say hundreds, but as far as interviewing people, it was around 27.
Okay.
Different interviews.
So you chatted with hundreds and hundreds, and you have that number, though, on film with stories to be told. Awesome. That's amazing. So now, I come from a musical family, so I'm really excited that you're here, and I get to talk to you, too. So how did this work between you guys? Did you always know that you wanted to bring him on board, or did you come in sort of middle of the road and were inspired by it? How did all that work?
I actually did some previous music for one of her short documentary films about a Sami painter on the North Shore, and that was sort of dipping my toes into the soundtrack world, so to speak. But this ended up kind of coming from a different perspective, at least from me, because what I got when I saw the subject matter was it was emotional. It's a very emotional thing. And so with the current political climate being almost like a mirror image of this sort of thing, that sort of drove me to create music that was purely based on an emotional response to the subject matter. And so, yeah, I'm very fortunate and glad that Kiersten gave me the opportunity to do this, because it's just interesting, because I'm coming from several thousand miles away from the subject matter, but I saw a lot of parallels to what's going on here in this country in her film.
So when people read about this film and look at the trailer and all of that, they shouldn't assume that it's not universal. It's universal. Would you say it applies universally to wherever you are in the world?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, what a lot of people don't know is that this is actually a sequel film to one that I did in 2009 called I'm Not Black, I'm Colored, Identity Crisis at the Cape of Good Hope. And one of the things that I learned in going to film festivals and going around the country, different universities, was how universal this message really was. Because colonization was all over the place, the Caribbean, everywhere, you know, and even within different caste systems within India and whatever. So I was very surprised at just how universal this message is. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, one more question for both of you. I know you both have Minnesota ties, and you're here at the Twin Cities Film Fest. We're thrilled to have you. Go ahead and tell us your relationship to Minnesota.
Well, I lived here for 35 years, and I lived out in Bloomington and also out on Lake Minnetonka. And what's interesting about our connection is that the two of us worked together at Caldwell Banker Burnett at their corporate headquarters. And I had always known that Todd was an amazing, gifted musician. He toured, you know, globally. And when it came to what I was looking for this particular film, I just texted him. I said, Todd, do you want to help me? So yeah, you know, so it worked out really nice. So our friendship has been a long time, and it's through our work.
Excellent. And you, sir, how are you connected to Minnesota?
Basically, I was born and raised here and have lived here the entire time and never moved away. But again, the Caldwell Banker Burnett connection was strong here, and that's what kind of led to this happening. But yeah, Minnesota, born and raised.
Wonderful. Guys, we are so fortunate to have you here. Thank you for being here so much. Make sure to catch Word of Honor, guys.